Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Honorable Abiru. Let us go through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 4th December 2018. Honorable Fafumi, please approach. Honorable Fafumi, please approach. Page 817, 818, 819. Honorable Secretary.
Good afternoon, sir. The Right Honorable Speaker and my distinguished colleagues. Page 818, paragraph 3, 1B. The name is Mr. Maunu Ashaka and not Maniwu, and the correct one is reflected on paragraph 4 and line 3. So the correct name is Mr. Mawunu Ashaka. Thank you, sir.
I've examined the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 4th December 2018, and approval is granted. Any message from the governor?
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, there is no message from the governor.
Any other announcements?
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is no announcements.
Petition,
None, Mr. Speaker, sir.
matter of urgent public importance. Honorable Desmond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to bring the attention of the House to the spate of robberies on our roads. There has been incessant traffic gridlock on our roads in recent times. And one of the major causes is the refusal of the articulated vehicles to maintain the one-lane policy as directed by the state government, which has led to major issues. It has exposed our motorists to nefarious acts of the men of the underworld. The Speaker, if you check from Fadei Bridge down to Ojo Elegba Bridge to Stadium Bridge and definitely to Alaka, leading all the way to CMS, during traffic gridlock and at night, the situation is very worrisome, as these robbers tend to exercise their evil rights, breaking into cars and stealing things from people. Mr. Speaker, residents of Surulere are worried because motorists now use the alternative routes in the inner streets of Surulere, and as such, the crimes have extended to those areas. It is becoming very worrisome, and I believe that we need to nip it right in the bud before it becomes too late, sir. My prayer, Mr. Speaker, is that we call on His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akin Miambode, to direct the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, to intensify efforts at securing the security, safety of motorists on the road, especially during traffic gridlocks, and to ensure a 24-hour patrol on major streets and highways across the state. My prayer also, sir, is that the Commissioner for Special Duties to ensure that the officers of the Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps are deployed to strategic areas of the state to render intelligent report on security matters and to security agencies. We also want to pray as well, Mr. Speaker, that the Commissioner for Transportation to ensure that the articulated vehicles, trailers, plying these highways maintain the one-lane policy as directed by the Lagos State government. I hereby move, sir.
Honorable Olu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, the motion of Honorable Desmond Elliott must be given serious consideration. This ember period, and it's not limited to Surulere, it's virtually everywhere. We have security threats even in Shomolu. When you go to Ketu, it's the same thing. Number one, because of the nature of the month, because we are getting to the end of the year, for those unscrupulous elements that have not worked since January to November, they want to go to their villages and show. Hence, there have been issues. Our printers in Shomolu lately have not been having it lightly. They come there, they will batter them, and I know one of the reasons why this is growing is because many a time we discover the street lights provided are not on between the hours that are critical to the safety of our people. Detour roads, we can see lately that we have been having hold up or go slow, as we may call it. It could be traced as well to the nature of the roads. Many of the roads are bad and not passable now. I don't know, but Mr. Speaker, I think it is imperative as well that Public Works Corporation should be given mandate to quickly go and nip in the bud all those potholes. Then thirdly, sir, the neighborhood watch should work closely with the Nigerian police at ensuring that they can pass information to the necessary agency in the case of having some threats in our locality. But Mr. Speaker, it is very bad now, and there's a need for us to look into it. Thank you.
Honorable, good evening.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, my colleagues. Well, I want to really go in line with the prime mover and the Honorable Lowo, because it's something that really calls for attention. Like, I will agree with Honorable Lowo that not limited to one particular area, it's almost everywhere in Lagos now. Ege is not being exempted. Well, we just add one more point to it, that there are some black spots that the police need to work on. They know all these places, and I think it is high time now they revisit all those areas, because we can really try as much as possible to prevent this crime. You know, instead of allowing them to manifest on the road, we can really go to the areas that we are really talking or classify as black spots within the state, so that before these people move to the street, they can really do some arrest. And more so, we are just coming out from the rainy season. All the roads are bad, and there is need for immediate repairs of the roads in order to create a free flow
The
of
motion on
traffic.
ground has nothing to do with roads. So just leave me to yourself to the confine of the motion, the request of the prime mover. So that is what we are discussing.
Yes, Right
It's
Honorable
about the
Speaker,
security.
we agree with that, but we just linking it to the causes of those robberies.
No, it
Thank
has
you.
no road has nothing to do with causes of those who snatch phones and everything. Honorable Visi Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Why I agree with the submission of other honorables. Mr. Speaker, street trading should be discouraged, because most of these armed robbers they disguise as traders on the road, and as a result of that, we will never be able to distinguish the real traders with the armed robbers. So that very particular area. Mr. Speaker, there is another one that they deploy is that they are intentionally cutting the road so as to slow down the movement of the traffic. So there they will be able to operate very well. So, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tunde Bravo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, may I be allowed to observe, sir, that it is natural that when the year is coming to an end, there's an upsurge in crime, and also because of the approaching elections, people want to take advantage of the situation to manipulate certain situations to their advantages. Mr. Speaker, it is very worrisome, sir, that we could allow in Lagos State that line of vehicles from Surulere to Apapa is taking too long. It's now becoming a permanent phenomenon in Lagos State. And people can hide under those articulated vehicles and unleash violence on pedestrians and motorists. Mr. Speaker, let me just say, sir, with due respect, that what we need is beyond patrols of the police, because how do they even move around? How do they patrol when the roads have been totally blocked? We need to encourage them to go on foot patrol and motorbikes. In collaboration with our neighborhood security corps, they can station themselves in strategic places in such a way that they will be proactive and nip violence intentions in the bud. I think that's what I want to add to
Thank
what
you.
you said.
Honorable Fafumi.
Right Honorable Speaker, fellow members, good afternoon. My take on this is that security has always been an issue during the ember period, and what I think we need to do has equally been discussed here on the floor. But my take is, when you look at this affected part, more importantly, any area that you have traffic light, or any area that is that if there's a gridlock, you notice that is either they come in form of traders or they come in form of Okada riders. We need to restrict movement of people via Okada on these undesignated or on these routes that were not authorized for them to pass. So invariably, what I'm saying in essence is that most of the solutions have been proposed. Our neighborhood men should come on board and get more involved. It is not enough to post them at designated centers and for them to stand aloof. They need to be involved. They need to move around. Even policemen, when you have them at checkpoint, they just stand there as if they are not part of the system. Anywhere you see police in developed climes, you are scared of them. But our own, they have a way of, mingling with the people to the extent that the security of the area is often compromised. I want to thank the Prime Mover for bringing this issue on board here today. Thank you.
Nuruddin, Honorable Nuruddin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues. Precisely, Mr. Speaker, this particular issue happened to me in April 12, 2015, around 7:30 along Odoyalaro, getting to Ujota. And they usually operate between 7:30 and 9. And in most cases, there are 3 numbers. One will handle the gun, other will handle the hammers, and other things like that. Before you know, they have broke your glass. And the next thing is that where's your phone? Before you know, they have taken your phone. And where you want to do otherwise, they do otherwise with you too. And by the way, I believe what my brother have said, that in terms of the road and whatever, but I believe because of the electricity, because of the light, since they have started using the light Lagos, I think it has been reduced to a certain level. But then, the particular day, even I'm wondering, the lot of commercial vehicles, a lot of corporate vehicles that are there, even they cannot rescue anything. They are just looking like, I said, is it a film or whatever? And at the end of the day, we discovered that it's not me only. It's more than 3 people that are affected that particular day. So what I just want is that the police should intensify their effort and they should continue with lighting Lagos. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jimo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also appreciate and thank the Prime Mover for this. But I think this matter calls for a conference instead of just debating it here and hand it here. Because I could remember precisely, Mr. Speaker, when we did a special session for one of our late Honorable Oluwole Awolowo, when some of the motions he brought to the floor of the House was the traffic down from Apapa and every part of Lagos. So what I'm saying in essence is that it has always been there since the 70s and 80s. But I have this fear, and I think we can still go back to what was demonstrated in the past, i.e., where we have the idea of odd number, and even number coming out at different intervals, different days. It was done in the Second Republic. I think if we go back to that, we can achieve one thing. Because, Mr. Speaker, from personal observation, supported by statistics, most of the trucks that are coming into Apapa, some of them don't have businesses in Apapa. I discovered that they only came to scout for customers so that they want to be placed in an advantage position immediately. There is customer that is ready to take away our goods that they can be available at hand. And I think we have to look in that direction. And if we don't go back to our rail system, the larger percentage of our goods should be moved by train. If we don't go back to that, we'll still be recording this casualty of having traffic jams within Lagos. Because in Lagos, in the whole federation, Mr. Speaker, we have about four ports in Apapa. Apapa Port, Tinkan Island Port, Roro Port, and Kirikiri Port. Mr. Speaker, it's important. Mr. Speaker, this is the largest in the country.
Thank you very much.
And virtually every truck wants to be in Lagos to get one thing or the other. And it eventually will affect all this linking road that we are talking about. I think it called for a conference, as I've said earlier.
Thank you
that
very much. Honorable Abiru.
it should go beyond just debating it here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Fellow members, I also greet you. Well, I also wish to say that the issue brought up is very essential. There are actually two sides to this, in my view. The issue of traffic and the issue of security. And I think what is most important at this point in time is for us as a government to step up the issue of security in and around the state. Long before now, we've experienced things like this, whereby people are being robbed in traffic. But at that time, I think what government did was they introduced RRS on foot all across major roads in the state. And of course, their presence were well felt on their motorbikes. Aside from this, I think to prevent these issues in traffic, because what we realize is that some of these boys would have been somewhere around, and they just come up to you when there is traffic, particularly they see that you are a sole driver or you're actually a woman. And particularly of note are the parks, that are no longer very functional as they are. I think there's a need for us to start combing these parks, bridges, the loops around bridges, and also lay-by. And of course, very recently we heard that the men of LSHA, that they've actually extended their time to be on the road. I also think it's very important to re-emphasize this, for LSHA to try and work late hours so that they can actually ease the problem of traffic on our roads. Again, the state environmental task force too should actually wake up to the responsibility. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Shinawa, lastly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, I want to align with my colleagues, but I will quickly mention this, that crime generally is an umbrella. It's an umbrella that we have kidnappers, killers, those who are stealing and robbing by force. But however, in the Western world that we are trying to copy, there is no country in this world that can stop crime. You can only curb or you prevent. And the only way to do that is to increase your undercover police. And if the state police cannot do that, I think it is better to advise our government to increase our neighborhood corps to be more. So when we hand undercover, for example, sir, the last Umrah that we attended, among the prayers faithful that sat, we have undercover even more than those of us who are praying. So if you intend or you are planning to do anything, you will just hear, Mr. Man, excuse me, they are taking you away. So we need undercover police in all these areas that we even behave like one of them. But where our police are tired, I'm happy they have increased their salary. They are tired, they are not even we don't even know a genuine police and non-genuine police. I want to suggest that we may allow the Inspector General of Police through the Commissioner of Police to increase the undercover police. And of course, our neighborhood corps to be there. They are not carrying guns. Out of 100 criminals there, we have only one or two with fake guns. Others are using dagger and what have you. And that is the way it's done all over the world. They put undercover police to monitor the area. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Desmond, your prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We call on His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, to direct the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, to intensify efforts at ensuring the safety of motorists on our Lagos roads, especially during the traffic gridlock, and arrange a 24-hour patrol of major roads and highways across the state. We also call that the police increase the number of undercover police for better security monitoring. Also, that the police should comb black spots, areas classified as black spots, loops in bridges, and also parks that have been rendered desolate. We also call on the Commissioner for Transportation to ensure that the articulated vehicles plying the highways comply with the one-lane policy of the Lagos State government. Finally, we call on the chairman of the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps to deploy officers of the Lagos State Safety Corps to strategize and to get to strategic areas of the state with a view to rendering intelligence report to relevant security agencies. I so move.
Honorable Council,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
all in favor say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Personal explanations. Honorable Duto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to announce the passage of one of the foremost traditional rulers of Awori land, Ọba Tajudeen Abayomi Adifagbohun Olosunde Ogbe II, Badewolu first of Akesan Kingdom, who joined his ancestors in the early hours of 22nd of November 2018. Ọba Fagbohun, a forthright person, humble, outspoken, brave, and a source of encouragement to all daughters and sons of Awori land and its subjects. He was a pace setter because he was the first crowned king of Akesan Kingdom. And is the father to our Vice Chancellor of Lagos University, LSHA, Mr. Fagbohun, and a father to so many of us. Awori land sons and daughters in Awori, in Akesan Kingdom, they are going to miss him for his fatherly advice, his wisdom, his contribution to the development of Awori land. So I'm hereby imploring the whole House to give him all the honors due to him and to make a letter of condolence to the Vice Chancellor and his siblings and Awori land and Akesan in general. May his soul find comfort with his ancestors and keep a watchful eye on those he left behind. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, kindly do a letter of condolence to the family of the deceased. Reports, Ashinobu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to bring the report of Conference of Speakers, Maiduguri 2018, that some honorable members and the clerk of the house and some officers of this great house accompanied Mr. Speaker to Maiduguri to attend the Conference of Speakers in Maiduguri. It was a 3-day program. The first day was arrival and the reception organized by the governor, where he spoke eloquently on the need for harmonious working relationship between the executive and the legislature. He also spoke extensively why he was carrying along all the members and even the institution of the legislature in his state. And then from all what we saw a state whereby both the executive legislature and the judiciary are functional and working towards the progress of their state. The second day was for lectures, and we had lecturers from two lecturers. They were professors of public admin and what have you, and one spoke extensively on the role of the legislature, being proactive rather than being reactive. He spoke extensively either the legislature should be an arena legislature or a transformative legislature.
he described as it were arena legislature that we only delved into issues that were brought to it. Why transformative legislature is one that will be proactive, seek solutions to problems, and be in the forefront of solving problems for their various states. On the third day, there was a tour of projects, and for a state coming out from ravages of war, what we saw was very good. The schools can compare with any school, and even better than most schools, because it is a complete package. We saw a school that had various classrooms, boarding houses for students, boarding houses, houses for the teachers. In fact, I want to believe that whatever assistance they got or are getting had been put into good use. And we also saw there are various housing projects, agricultural projects. It did not seem to us that Maiduguri is under siege. But in interaction with fellow colleagues from the Borno State House Assembly, they told us that what we have seen has been made possible by the current administration in the state. That there was a time between 2014 and 2015, for about 7 months, Maiduguri was cut off from civilization. They can hardly make phone calls. They had to go as far as Bauchi to make phone calls, and they were so easy prey for Boko Haram insurgents that now what we've seen is they are no more under occupation. Even the police are hardly seen, but they are there, but not as they were time passed. And I also brought the issue of the recent attack on these Mitete barracks. It was then that I was informed reliably that Mitete was not actually in Maiduguri. It was about 300 kilometers away from Maiduguri. That is from modern Osun State. But also I must say that in Maiduguri we stayed in Lagos House, and they so like people from Lagos. They told us that Governor Jakonde gave them some money during the Second Republic, and that was what they did with the money. We also have Lagos Street in Maiduguri. In all, it is an enriching experience. What we saw was better than expected. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Majority Leader.
Right. Right, Honorable Speaker. Next is the business of the day, and it's for presentation of report, second allotted day, in respect of Lagos State local government. Yes, Mr. Speaker. I want to observe that the chairman that will present the report is not present in the chambers. And with the kind permission of Mr. Speaker, I may have to move that the said report be stepped down for another day.
Honorable Lulade.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Majority Leader.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, you will all recall that last week some of the nominees of the governor appeared before this house. Before we move to next agenda, may I put it to us for the confirmation on pursuant to Lagos State's Public Procurement Agency Law 2015, this House hereby confirmed the appointment of Mr. Onofowote Fatai Idowu as General Manager. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Also, we have the nominees of His Excellency for teaching service pursuant to Lagos State Teaching Service Commission Law 2018. This House hereby confirms the appointment of the following: Mrs. Aria Olabisi Elizabeth as the chairman, Mr. Manu Ashaka as member, Mrs. Smith Sidikat Sitilayo as member, Mr. Kara Adeleke as member, Mrs. Hassan Kubrat as member. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Clark, kindly send the letter of clearance to His Excellency. The majority leader.
With the kind permission, with the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker, may I move that this House adjourn till Tuesday, the 18th day of December at 10 o'clock. I so move.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
There will be a short meeting immediately after sitting. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. This House stands adjourned to Tuesday, 18 December 2018 at 10 a.m. prompt. I rise.